Monday morning and the kids are finally back at school. This morning was a little different to my usual routine. I popped off quick to have my eyebrows and my lashes done. Don't they look gorgeous? Anyway, I've always been open about the work that I've had done. I'm in my 40s, all right? And to hang on to your youth is a full-time fucking job. I have had Botox, I've had fillers, I've had salmon DNA, I do microdermabrasion, I've had microneedling done, I've even had a vampire facial done like a few times. Seriously, like a few times. And if you haven't seen what a vampire facial is or how they do it, it is fucking insane. I've had a tummy tuck, a boob reduction. The next thing on my list also is the upper bleph because these eyelids are not staying up on their own anymore. But there is genuinely nothing more humbling than when your kids manage to point out the things you're trying to hide. Like the boys will say, "Oh, look, Mom, look at those cute wrinkles," or "Oh, Mommy, look at this fat roll," the spare tire that you don't ever really get rid of. Or the bald spot. "Mom, did you see that bald spot on your head?" And you're like, it's things you didn't even know you had. And these little fuckers aren't being mean. They're literally just being honest. The problem is, though, society makes us feel like we're ancient. The minute we hit 40, it's like you've got to keep on asking yourself, do I look good enough? Am I thin enough? Am I pretty enough? Is my hair perfect? And you've got to ask yourself also the same question. How far are you willing to go? Well, today we're going into the 16th century to meet a woman who didn't just want a vampire facial. She wanted a whole person. This story is about Elizabeth Báthory, a woman who took beauty as pain and turned it into a bloodbath. Elizabeth Báthory was a blood countess for a reason. She wasn't just killing for the sake of it. She was conducting a 20-year experiment in cruelty. She turned her castle into a trap. She'd lure young girls in, some as servants, some as students, and then she'd set her inner circle of staff on them. She was a sadist in the true sense. She would bite the flesh off her victims while they were still alive. In the dead of winter, she would have the girls stripped naked and dragged out into a freezing courtyard where she would douse them in ice water until they froze to death right in front of her. I mean, this woman was a different level of cruel. There were even stories of how she would jam needles under their fingernails or honeycoat their bodies and leave them near a beehive. Some of her victims, and I hope you're ready for this, some of her victims were as young as 10. She viewed their youth and their pain as literal fuel for her own vanity. She didn't want their blood. She wanted to witness the moment their life left their bodies, believing that the youthful energy was somehow transferring to her. Now, while I'm sitting here counting my grey hairs, she was counting bodies. When the king's men finally raided the castle in 1610, they found a charnel house. There were girls dead in the hallway, girls dying in the cells, and others whose bodies had been drained of so much blood they actually looked like fucking marble. I mean, insane. The legend says she used a device called an Iron Maiden. So it's basically a hollow statue filled with spikes. She'd lock the girls inside, and as the spikes pierced them, the blood would drain through the channels into a tub below where Elizabeth would sit and soak. The locals had been terrified for years. They had seen the bodies being dumped over the castle walls at night. But Elizabeth was noble. She thought she was above everybody else. She even kept a diary with the victims' names. Do you want to know how many victims she had? 650. To her, they weren't people. They were just a beauty treatment. Elizabeth Báthory proved the most dangerous thing in the world isn't a monster. It's a woman with a mirror and a cold heart. There is a saying that if you're focusing that much on the outside, there's usually something rotting on the inside. Well, in that case, I think I'm off to go and embrace my squishy rolls, but I'm still going to go research that upper Blef appointment before the boys find something else to comment on. I'm Mrs. G. Keep your coffee hot, your vino chilled, hide the good snacks, and for the love of God, never trust a brown mark on your kids' undies. See you next Monday.